The senior on the right flank, as he's been all year long, Jonathan Rosales in the middle of the park. His counterpart on the left side is Avion Flanagan. You've got Henrik Gallina and the man Emilio Okazu, who just touches the ball now. On defense, it's the trio that's been the trio all year long. Javane Brown in the center, freshman Salvatore Mazzaferro on the left side, and the man who has the ball right now, Marcus Murphy, on the right. It's a very solid group for the Bulls, and again, one that would wish that it could have had back a couple of most recent results, namely the one against UCF that they had so many chances to tie the game and maybe force overtime the other night, but not coming up with the wins in these last few games against ranked teams have the Bulls in a situation where they pretty much need to at least get to the conference tournament championship. But first things first, take care of business here tonight. And the Bulls looking on the front foot here in the first minute, just trying to get someone in the attacking third, though, as Cincinnati is knocking the ball around and USF is generally controlling it right now. Cincinnati, I mentioned a couple of players that would gain their confidence based over last year. One of them is an interesting case, Darren Commission, who is kind of the Adrian Billhart of Cincinnati. He had a 4-goal freshman season, nothing last year, just 2 assists. But by the way, they were both against USF, so he's got confidence against the Bulls, and he's back to scoring 5 goals this year. Jonathan Rosales gets a nice ball on the right side, slots it forward to Adrian Billhart. It's knocked away by Cincinnati, but it'll be a corner kick. Good work by Trey Asensio with the Bulls to get their first corner. And this is a team that the Bulls, again, have confidence against. I mentioned that Cincinnati, in the last 2 years, in fact, even if you go back to the one here 5-2 2 seasons ago, Cincinnati scored 2 goals. They got outshot 25-2. And then the Bulls went up there and just absolutely dominated. It was 6-0 before Cincinnati got those 2 goals late in the season. Avion Flanagan on the first corner from the right side, curls in short to Gallina, tries to get a foot on it. It's still out for Javon Brown. And over to Victor Claudel, nothing doing. Nice work there by Marcus Murphy to keep the play in play for the Bulls and maybe earn a foul.
Yeah, and a good position here. Good opportunity for USF again. Put some good service in, test the goalkeeper early, try and get some shots on goal, and try and get that that quick early goal to settle down the nerves.
Now, before they got beat 7-1 by SMU, and by the way, SMU can put up goals against anybody. A team that took UCF to overtime Tuesday, Stetson, and has had a good year. Well, SMU hung the 5 spot on them before they did the 7 against Cincinnati. So for the most part, their scores have been a lot closer. They've only been on the end of 3 lopsided losses. On the free kick, Gallina goes short to Flanagan on the right side, squares it back to Marcus Murphy, who chips it into the front of the box. Adrian Billhart tries to settle it, marked pretty well, and Cincinnati will knock it out of bounds, but the play by Abubakar is going to lead to a throw-in for the Bulls. Kind of a cloudy night here. There were some rain showers. I know that, Alan, I'm guessing anyway, you were a couple minutes late, as I, because it's real busy around.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, there's a
lots going on.
Country concert. Old Dominion is playing. Not the school, the country band. And there's also a softball match going on along with senior night here. Boy, good layoff, and boy, we know he's got that shot. Thought about having it, now he's going to have it low, and a good
strike. Yeah, good strike.
Required a nice save by Noah Lawrence. Good start there for the Bulls.
Get the ball on target. That's what you want to see. If the keeper spills anything there's a chance for a rebound.
Gallina with his 13th shot of the season. Again, more of a defensive midfielder, but has shown clear offensive capabilities, and we saw them on display right there. Bulls just 4 minutes into the match tonight against Cincinnati. Derek Sharp alongside of Alan Anderson. Thanks for checking us out on Bulls Unlimited, or maybe you're popping it on YouTube. I just looked down and realized I had to pop on my mic, so you only heard me faintly in the first 4 minutes, but either way, a lot to talk about here tonight. Again, we'll get into more of the details of what has to happen for the Bulls and where they could slot, but you don't want to talk about all the possibilities until the game really unfolds. There are some other games going on in the conference. Again, 2 weeks left, 2 match days, I should say, left in the regular season, because in a week from tomorrow, the conference tournament will start. See a lot of members of the women's team here. Sabrina Wagner, Katie Kitching just sat down. They had a rough loss last night to UCF in Orlando, but they're here to support their team. That's a good sign. Gotta like that. Here it's Bulls going right to left, wearing their all-whites on senior night. Good ball up by Claudel. Monhay in stride. Thought about slotting it to Flanagan and said, chips it across. Absolutely a great cross. And Rosales, the senior, misses, but Claudel bangs it, I think, into Rosales. Absolutely.
Yeah, Rosales. They couldn't do anything about that.
Jonas like, I'm the senior, you're the freshman. You're not scoring just yet, young kid. Claudel with three goals this season. Outstanding work, and the Bulls keep it in play. Kaza,
try not to say senior too often tonight, but there are two on the field, and then the goalkeeper, Devonish Mears. I'm sure we'll see Stephen Rutherham off the bench.
Great ball.
Good flick by one of them. He caused it. Bullhorn, that's a great-looking shot, and it goes wide.
Got a deflection,
Yeah, it took a deflection.
Cool.
Might have been a necessary deflection.
It was a good strike, a good start from USF. I think we're seeing very, very quickly Cincinnati. They're bunkering in. They're only playing one up top, and they're trying to compact everything. But there's spaces in behind their defense, and USF just needs to keep on passing the ball quickly, pass and move, and get some plenty of shots on goal.
And that will be an interesting strategy to see. You mentioned they're bunkering up on top, and Cincinnati. We're always looking at it from the Bulls' point of view. We'll tell you about what their outlook is for these last two games after this corner kick. Rosales sends it across to Vane. Brown's in position, and he sends it in!
Go.
He was up in the air, a flat-out volley. He had some extra hang time and a perfect service, so a senior will get an assist. And Javane Brown again, off of a corner kick, puts the Bulls up 1-0.
Yeah, great start, great service, good corner. Usually they go sort of near post, penalty spot area, USF, and Brown, gets the headers from there. But this time they went far post, actually, just past the back post. Brown made a great run around the back and just did enough, just side-footed it into the goal.
And he was setting up to try and head it. And he realized it was going to come down, and so that was really magnificent. And and there's the announcement of Rosales, the senior, getting the assist. The other day against UCF, he had a similar situation. He wanted to head it, and he just kind of awkwardly timed it. And if he had just gathered himself, it would have been a tie game. But I think he learned from that and got the early goal.
Made the adjustment. Yeah, that's what you have to do sometimes. You just got to make the adjustment quickly and still get something on target.
So Javane Brown, again, a defensive player with his third goal, all off of corner kicks. The first two on headers and then that one. For Rosales, it is his second assist of the season to go with 3 goals, tied for second on the team. The Bearcats actually have 2 goal scorers with more than anyone on the Bulls roster, being, we mentioned, Darren Commission and Craigton Charlton, who's been a big addition to their roster. There's a foul on the Bulls. One of 3 players is Charlton, number 29, from Jamaica via Daytona State College, and they're all contributing quite a bit. All 3 are starting tonight. Well, that's a good ball in, but right to Harrison Devonish Mears. As I was mentioning, the players from Jamaica/Daytona State, Donovan Segre was one of them, and that was a nice work ball. He has started, by the way, Segre, all 15 of their games, as they really have gone to that Daytona State. Well, we are 7 minutes into this one. 1-0 Bulls on the goal by Javane Brown. Now, we mentioned Cincinnati. Right now, where they stand, the top 6 teams in the conference get into the conference tournament. The bottom 2 basically miss out. Bulls with a win tonight would guarantee to be in the conference tournament. Of course, they still want to finish top 4. But Cincinnati, for their purposes, would be fine with the tie, and you would think they would try and hunker back, as you say, but Alan, you take them out of that plan right
exactly.
now.
That's the importance of an early goal. They have to change their game plan at some point, so they're going to have to come out. There's more goals in this.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the difference, when we watched the FIU game a week or 2 ago, they had confidence. FIU could tell, even though when they went a goal down, 2 goals down, they still, because all season they've been coming back. They've been getting those tying goals, etc. With Cincinnati, they've been beaten quite handily the last few games, so their confidence. So another couple of goals from USF put this game away.
Flanagan over to Monhague. Good cross in, but it's headed away well by Cincinnati. That was Stewart on the header. Will be a throw for the Bulls. Yeah, they lost to SMU 7-1.
Exactly.
Now they do have, and despite being outscored vastly this year, 33-21, and having a below 500 record by a good bit, 5-9-1. Again, they are in line to make the conference tournament as a 6th place team. We'll tell you at halftime exactly what's going on in the other games, but that's the thing. You can't just write them off as a team that's out of it, because they're not out of it. They're actually technically, because of the 1 win they pulled against Tulsa and the 1 extra result they got a tie against Temple, and that's all it's taken, because the bottom 2 teams have only 1 result between them. Emilio Icaza is going to be the victim of a late offside call.
It was a late call, but he was just offside, just ran a little bit too early. But I think that you can tell body language with certain teams, and when they let that goal in, Cincinnati, you could just tell already that early goal just kind of deflated them a little bit, and USF needs to just stay on the front foot, get some more shots on goal, create some more chances, put some good crosses in, and get a few more goals before half time.
Mention, and that's the thing about getting up on them, and maybe by multiple goals, because the games, except for one wild game against Bowling Green, they won 4-3 for the most part, but they perform well in drawn results. They've been low-scoring games on their part. The big tie, as it turns out, against Temple, they fell behind in the 8th, similar to this, but then they scored 5 minutes later, and that was it. So the Bulls don't want that to happen here.
Right.
And Josue Monje earns a foul, and he's going to get a decently in-deep kick for his team.
Yeah, I think as you said there, when you bunker in like this and you keep one up and you play this kind of defensive formation, the idea is that you keep a clean sheet and you don't give anything away, and then gradually you get yourself into the game, and later in the second half you start pushing and maybe get a goal. But this obviously changes that for Cincinnati now, because USF's already scored, so they're going to have to come out at some point and open up.
Rosales and Flanagan taking a peek at what they might do here on this free kick opportunity. Left angle, just about 30 yards away from goal if you include the angle. Flanagan, the lefty from the left side, sends it too far across. Bill Hart's going to hustle and try and outrace Charlton to the corner, and actually Charlton some good work.
Yeah, it was
there.
a good delivery, and Brown actually got blocked off there, and I'm not sure if he could have got it or not anyway, but he got blocked off there, and as he ran back to his position, he just had a little word with the referee. Hey, you keep your eye on that, please, sir, because I got blocked off big time there.
Yeah, I've always wondered about that. The defenders are taught to let it ride no matter what, and you can't just... You're not going to not have contact in doing that sometimes, and I wonder what the line is, how much contact you're allowed to have.
Yeah. But it's always good to just remind the referee, hey, keep your eye on it, and never get a chance to get a penalty maybe.
I always thought if you're the trying to be the attacker in that situation, just sprint around them. Don't even try and win the ball. Just go around them and see what happens. But you never see it.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird plays, weird battles that always seems to unfold a few times a game in soccer that way. We have played 11 minutes. The Bulls lead at 1-0 on a goal by Javane Brown off of a corner kick service by Jonathan Rosales. Bulls have a 5-1 shot advantage already. And we mentioned last time these teams played here, it was 25-2 on shots. But keep an eye on Comisión, as he again had just 2 goals all last year. They were both against the Bulls. He had a goal against them here 2 years ago, and he's got 5 this season. Oh, Victor Claudel chests the ball well, runs himself onto the ball, but a defender, Trey Asensio, will get to it first for Cincinnati. As you might expect, the Bearcats do have plenty of players on their roster from the Cincinnati area, but as I mentioned also, several from Jamaica, and they're all out there on the field. Their 19th year head coach, Hilton Days, trying to get this team and this program back to where it was a few years ago. 2016, they were above 500. And that was the last year that the Bulls actually made the NCAA tournament. They beat them that year, Cincinnati did, but it's been a different story these last 2, and the story is playing out so far here tonight, fortunately for the Bulls, up 1-0. Maybe Flanagan gets it knocked away well by Abubakar there.
That's the play, though, is to get Flanagan the ball. There's plenty of space out on this left side for USF. If they can isolate him one-on-one, then, get some good crosses in.
Yeah, Flanagan hasn't been as impactful in the last couple games, and they were certainly important games, the ones against FIU and UCF. Just to recap, both highly ranked teams. FIU still hasn't lost. Bulls had them 2-0. FIU got 2 goals within a 90-second span, and really just outplayed the Bulls for about 10 minutes, and that was enough to draw 2-2. And then the Bulls got jumped on a little bit by UCF, but kept it 1-0 and had many chances to force overtime. Couldn't do it. So they've kind of gone from results there, you're looking at an at-large, to now having to kind of win out at least their next few games. Cincinnati moving up the pitch for the first time appreciably, but it's knocked away by Gallina on that right side.
I think the challenge for Flanagan, when you play against some of the good sides, if their right fullback pushes up and attacks down this side, then Flanagan has to track him, which means he's got to go back into his own half, and now he's starting, when USF gets the ball back, now he's 80 yards from goal, so it's a lot of running, a lot of work. I think the times that he's done well is when defensively the other team has sat back a little bit, and he hasn't had to track back as much.
You almost take for granted how much ground he covers, and that certainly can help if you're not having to track back as much.
Yeah, they call it the graveyard shift that along those flanks, and you're up and down there a few times. It can be a lot of work.
Abubakar doing some good work, some step overs there, but his ball actually is going to earn a corner kick. Jonathan Rosales, I think, was afraid that if he headed it into the field of play, he might set up Cincinnati, so at the last moment he just decided to let it ride for a corner. And that will be played far away to our left. I believe that is going to be Siobhan Stewart lining it up. started every game. Ball goes short, back into the box, but cleared away by Rosales. Talk about a guy who is on that graveyard shift. Jonathan Rosales. Cool individual. Had a chance to interview all 4 seniors at once, and let's just say I don't think they're going to be overly dramatic or emotional. They think their season's going to go a long way, so they're not looking at this game as, oh, this is the end or anything like that.
Yeah, that's right.
That
is a good thing. That's right. Be positive. You're expecting to play more games.
Bulls will play one more game after this. If they win tonight, they're guaranteed to go into the conference tournament. More on that as we get throughout this broadcast, of course, but this is their last home game of the regular season. If things happen right, they'll be here actually in a week from tomorrow for a conference tournament game. Josue Monje up to Victor Claudel. Timed his run perfectly, I thought.
He just, linesman wasn't quite sure there, and he decided that he had just gone a step too soon. But good ball and a good run from Claudel. As we said all season, Claudel does great. He runs off the last man, right off the shoulder of the last defender. He just went just a split second too soon there.
Got, of course, so many internationals on this team. There is actually a freshman from France on Cincinnati, not on the field right now, but when number 15 Paul Labier comes out there, I'm sure that Victor Claudel will just gravitate to him, or maybe not. But the Bulls, the Canadian there on the left side of the defense, Jamaican in the center, well represented by all nations, and Brazilian, very good squad put together by Butenhorn, and really wants to get them back into the NCAA tournament for the first time in 3 years. Cincinnati getting back into the attack. There's that Canadian I was mentioning, Matt DeFaro, squashing that. 16 minutes in, 1-0 Bulls. As they come into the second to last night of the regular season, 5th place out of 8 teams. They're in good shape to make the conference tournament regardless of what happens. In fact, they just have to finish ahead of 2 teams, and one of those teams, Tulsa, can't even catch them, so they're looking at just keeping down either this team, Cincinnati, or UConn. Obviously, if they beat Cincinnati, it's over, said and done. And certainly the Bulls have the look of a team that can hang with anybody, but now you really have to put it together at this time of the season. It can't be hanging with. You've got
it's almost just a whole new season, isn't it? You start again, you wipe the slate, and you start again. And you get on a good run, you get some momentum, you win a couple of games postseason. Before you know it, you're deep into the tournament.
Place they would love to be. I know they think this team can go there. Oh, ball's sent across the field, and Avion Flanagan chests it down beautifully. Good ball in. Claudel can't quite connect. It's still in the middle of the box, cleared away.
But that's the play again, isn't it? So much space out on this left side. Just keep getting Flanagan the ball and let him go one-on-one. He serves such great crosses in.
And it still has a chance here as Flanagan wins the ball back to Ikaza. There's a beautiful ball. Might have been a foul there in the box. So that was Adrian Billhart. Definitely foul, but I think he made the most of it. So no PK called.
Yeah, referee was in a good position there. He saw it and immediately waved it away.
You could see why Billhart would take the dive there. It wasn't so much a dive as it was a embellishment. There's a subtle difference.
Absolutely.
A dive is more embarrassing. An embellishment is, just you're doing what you need to do out there.
Wishful thinking.
Exactly. There you go. Embellishment is wishful thinking. We've seen some flat-out dives. We've unfortunately seen enough examples to know the difference.
Yep.
There's a long ball in by Cincinnati, headed back down. And Stewart was in line to play it, but Guyena not only gets to it first, but spins around, tried to find Claudel.
Yeah, he was on as well, Claudel. It's a shame if he could have got that ball over that last man. Claudel was in.
Commission.
Good skill from Guyena, though. Great to see your so-called defensive midfielders, with some great bit of skill there.
He is absolutely tremendous, right in the anchor of that central defense as far as midfield goes, but can venture up as well. And boy, hard to believe some of these players on the team are freshmen and sophomore. He being a sophomore is a good example of that. Abubakar can't quite handle the ball. Josue Monje is going to try and play it away from him. Flanagan gets into the park. There's a embellishment, and it won't work out for Cincinnati as it was played on up to Paul Bangura, and the midfielder can't quite control it. It'll be a goal kick for the Bulls. Cincinnati seniors were not honored with any sort of big dramatic ceremony before the game, but they got mentioned. A very young team in general, though. Not many seniors. We mentioned Donovan Segre, and a lot of their upperclassmen are transfers, Cam Panley being another senior. There's a foul contact in the middle of the park, and Josue Monje is down. We'll see if a card comes out here.
Yeah, it's not a good tackle there, late and from behind. That's a dangerous one, and quite rightly a yellow card.
So let's see if Abubakar heads back over to Mullenhay and asks for or shows him any sympathy. No, he's going to go grab some fluid from the USF trainer. So let's see if once Josue Mullenhay gets up, Abubakar gives him a little bit more of a look of concern. We are 14 minutes into this one, and 14 minutes. My math is really, really bad. 19 minutes, which is better for the Bulls, up 1-0. Speaking of up, Josue Mullenhay is going to get up, and he's actually going to put some fluid on his leg. I think he's going to be okay, but he is going to be hobbling for a little bit here.
Yeah, he'll run that off in another minute or two. But those ones, they sting a little bit, those ones.
Gets a card, does Cincinnati, for the pain for Mullenhay. Free kick will be right around midfield.
Like to see USF just push up a little bit more. For me, they're still sitting a little bit deep here, and I think with Cincinnati only playing one up top, they can afford to push a little bit more. USF press Cincinnati into their own half and try and create some more chances.
Agreed, and I think the Bulls are probably hip to that. You would hope anyway. Adrian Billhart slots it into Mullenhay, who looks fine to me. Oh man, he takes another. That's not a foul, but
kick.
The same spot on his follow-through gets clipped, and he is in all sorts of pain. Josue Mullenhay might have to take a seat in this game in a minute. The Bearcats are playing it on. Javane Brown plays it up. As soon as USF, now the ball deep in Cincinnati territory, is going to lead to a whistle. And some of the Bulls are complaining, but I don't think that was a foul. I think it was just he caught a player on his follow-through.
He went to take the strike. That's right, and unfortunately, I think he caught the defender's leg there at the same time. But the referee again was in a great position. He was right there and immediately waved it away. But he does look in a little bit of pain here. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out.
Yeah, if not for anything else, the third time being the charm. Just get him off the field for a few minutes so he's not thinking about his leg. I mean, let him actually walk it off, because right now doing that on the pitch, the only thing is I can't say a few minutes and be accurate because, of course, once you get subbed out in the first half in college soccer, you cannot return the rest of the half. And there are still 25 and a half minutes left in this one. So they're going to look at Mullenhay. I would imagine you have several Bulls stretching out right now that we are going to get a substitution or at least someone up.
Especially in the position that Monier's playing, you need that. You need plenty of running from that position. He's in behind the front two. He's kind of arriving late, making lots of runs in the penalty area. So you need somebody who's fresh and not hobbling around.
Could end up being. I mean, listen, it's senior night. The only senior not on the pitch right now is Stephen Rutherham. So maybe he would be a candidate to replace Mullenhay, who's going to jog off.
Yeah, he wants to stay on, doesn't he? He's going to go straight to the halfway line and say that he's okay. He doesn't want to come out.
If I'm number 10 for USF, I am staying away from anything right now. I'm finding space. I'm making runs. I'm not going into a patch of players. Adrian Billhart on the restart kicks it right back to the keeper, Noah Lawrence, who had little chance to none of stopping the only goal scored in this game by Javane Brown early on in it. Derek Sharp, Alan Anderson. With the call of USF and Cincinnati, last home game of the regular season for the Bulls. Hopefully it's not their last home game period. I can tell you if they win tonight, well, they'll be set up. And boy, Commission holds his run there onside. Bulls have a chance to get back, even though he was 5 yards away for a second of anybody else, and it's going to earn a corner kick.
And I think that's the issue there with Cincinnati. When you only play one up front and he gets the ball, there's nobody else in the penalty area to serve it to, so he has to wait. And that allows USF to get back and get their shape and defend.
It looked really dangerous until you looked up and saw that it was a one-man show.
Exactly.
So now it'll be Cincinnati with its second corner kick, this one from the right side. And they've been actually pretty good on corners this year, so the Bulls probably ill afford to keep giving them up. It's still a 1-0 game, even though the Bulls have been dominating. Can't feel too comfortable right now. Ball sent deep, and that could be a dangerous spot, and it's knocked just wide of the goal. It was a good service by Segre in the right corner, but Cincinnati's player, I think that was the big defender, Trey Asensio, could have gotten a head on the ball. We may be tied right now. He's 6'3", by the way.
It was a similar service to USF's goal, wasn't it? The Brown scored, just beyond that far post, somebody arriving around the back late.
Just shy of the 6-minute mark is when that goal officially went down for Brown on the assist to Rosales. Emilio Ikazen, we don't see any subs ready to come in, so I guess Mullenhay is just fine, even though he's been on the end of some temporary serious pain here in the last 5 minutes of this game. We are nearing the midway point of the first half. Again, Cincinnati, a team that comes in with a 5-9-2 record, just 1 win and 1 tie in conference play. The Bulls are 2-3, so really just 1 result better than Cincinnati if you want to look at it that way. The only difference being that Cincinnati has yet to play UCF, and that's another reason why the Bearcats are thinking they have to get a result here tonight, because they're probably not planning on getting one in Orlando on Tuesday. Right now they're in the stead to be in the conference tournament, but Tulsa and UConn are the teams behind them, and they actually play each other. So that's one of those situations you may end up rooting for a tie, and you don't want to be in that spot if you're Cincinnati. Once you start rooting for a tie, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you should never play for a tie. That's the worst thing you can do.
Josue Monje, as the Bulls get some move on here. Avion Flanagan looking to get around. Cincinnati can't do it. Looks for support in the back, and Gallina unmarked. Wants to send it across to Akaza. Does so. He has Rosales on the right wing, and he sees him. And
Yeah, smart play by USF. Wasn't on one side to go around, start again, go around the other side.
Rosales sends it in, but it was headed away well by Cincinnati. Headed in on danger, and I think it's a bicycle clearance.
That looked a handball to me.
All right. Yeah. You're right. Good call on your part, Alan.
Yeah, looked a handball, and referee was, again, great position to see it.
And to me, it looked like a half-hearted effort at a bicycle kick clearance. But either way, I think it was Aaron West for Cincinnati got his hand on the ball, and the Bulls and you called for it right away.
Yeah, it was. You see, he just kind of looked like he lost his balance and just his hand on the ball, and it was in an unnatural position. Clear penalty.
It's not like it was off the play; it was right where the ball was. So you're not going to get away with that one.
That's right.
So I can tell you that the Bulls were practicing penalty kicks a lot this week, because we're getting to that time of season where you could have a conference tournament shootout. And now that he's about to shoot it, I can tell you, Adrian Billhart, they're so excellent at just picking a corner and going low.
Yeah,
There's
that's
no messing about.
That's the way as well. Pick your spot.
So Billhart will take it with the left foot. He runs up, and he goes low into the left, and he converts.
Great penalty.
Absolutely unstoppable. Not the least of which for Noah Lawrence, as he guessed the wrong way. But even if he had guessed and gotten a head start, no chance.
2 keepers wouldn't have saved that one. But great penalty. He kept his cool. That's the key with penalties. You've got to be confident, step up, pick your spot, and go with it. And he did that well. Good time to score for USF. It was just going a little bit flat for me, and I feel now this goal has given them the momentum. Go and get the 3rd and the 4th goals now.
So Adrian Billhart, there haven't been, now that I think about it, I don't believe there's been a penalty kick.
I was going to ask you,
for the Bulls this year.
I think that's their first penalty, isn't it?
You've talked about how, Billhart has been on the goal scoring schneid, even though he broke it up against FIU officially, but he hadn't had that penalty kick chance that I can think of anyway. I know Victor Claudel took the one in the preseason, and that might be it.
Yeah, there are some seasons where you get penalty after penalty and you score 10 or 12 goals, and most of them are penalties. This year it hasn't quite been that way.
Yeah, I'll get confirmation on that, but with 22 minutes to go in the first half, the Bulls get their 2nd goal of the game, and now this could be even more of a goal fest. This is how it's happened the last couple of years. I remember last year up in Cincinnati, which was not exactly a great soccer pitch. I mean, they have to have turf up there because of the weather. But it's kind of slippery. It just has that look about it. And the Bulls didn't care. They were slipping and sliding and scoring the whole game.
Yeah.
And it's starting to get that feel as something that could repeat again here tonight, and that would be wonderful to see on senior night. The only thing missing is a goal from a senior, as 2 underclassmen have gotten it in for the Bulls. That's okay. The ball is headed away well by Gallina, and not just heading it away, knowing where it's going and following after it.
Yeah, great play.
Delivering it.
And a great pass too. Yeah, did everything right there.
Tremendous job there by the sophomore.
That's what you like to see as a coach, isn't it? Somebody winning the ball and then getting their own rebound, own loose ball.
Victor Claudel ridden off the ball a little bit hard there, too hard by Abubakar, who is starting to collect the rather hard set of fouls. In fact, he was the one that earned the yellow.
He's getting a kind of another warning from the referee here that if he continues, he's going to get a 2nd yellow.
And that would, of course, spell even more difficulty for Cincinnati, already down 2 goals in this game. You definitely don't want to be down an extra player. So the Bulls with a chance here.
That's what happens as well sometimes with teams. You start going a few goals down, you've taken a heavy beating the previous game, and the confidence, etc., and then you start doing silly things, giving away silly fouls and getting cards, lose your discipline, and before you know it, you're down to 10 men, and then a lot of times the floodgates do open up.
Penalty kicks, I'm looking, that would be their first of the year. It is a bizarre stat but Adrian Billhart made it look like
A good service here.
by Rosales, and that's good and low, and flicked on perfectly like you'd like by Emilio Icaza, just missed wide.
Almost looked like it almost came off the outside of the post there, didn't it? It was close, real close, but good ball in, mixing it up. That one they played it into the near post. Previous goal for Brown was at the far post. It's good. Mix up the different service. Keep creating chances.
Interestingly enough, and you saw it, and you called it right, by the way, the only penalty kick even attempted in a USF game was that miss by FIU that was actually saved by the fingertip, as he told us after the game, of Harrison Devonish Mears. So, first made penalty in a Bulls game just a couple of minutes ago by Adrian Billhart.
Yeah.
Really, really bizarre stat. Billhart, and again, that's why you have to practice them this time of year, because it's not just one play that's going to take them. Once you get to postseason, games don't end in ties.
Absolutely, yeah. It's critical that you have guys confident to take penalties, and it's it's not just one guy either. You're going to need a couple. He may not be on the field if you get one during the play, and if it goes to penalties, you need to have a bunch of guys that are confident with taking penalties.
Ooh, nice work there by Mazzaferro to save a ball and keep it from going behind him. And the Bulls will try. And there's Victor Claudel. Just what I was talking about. He actually runs around the goalkeeper, Lawrence, but the ball ran out of bounds across the end line. It'll be a goal kick. As we were discussing earlier, why doesn't the player just run around the guy trying to fend him off? And that's what Claudel did there, but the ball was going
he almost got to it well there as well. But some good movement off the ball by Claudel. He does that well. Runs into the channels, makes some good runs, and they just got to keep giving him more service.
Derek Sharp, Alan Anderson, who I assume was a good penalty kick taker. I mean, that's...
I did actually take all the penalties for USF, yeah, and I have to say I never missed one.
Hey.
So I must pat myself on the back there, and took a few, but missed a lot of other things, but didn't miss the penalties.
Nice work by Charlton, blocked away by Flanagan for another corner kick. So we have two penalty kick takers in the booth here. I was, of course, the very, very famous, well-known under-12 Plant City Lancers club team. I was the big chubby kid that played defense but could kick penalty kicks.
Yeah, it's
4 for 4, baby.
Yeah, that's it's an art, taking penalties. As I say, always comes down to confidence, I always think, with penalties.
Well, I had the belly, so I would just lean the belly one way and kick it the other, and the ref, the goalie, had no clue. Now another corner kick for Donovan Segri, who's had some good services on the corners and also from a deep free kick, so he is clearly the free kick taker. Again, a Jamaica/Daytona State product, one of 3 on the field for Cincinnati, who's really played well. And another good ball in. It was kind of a confused effort there by Devonish Mears and a teammate, but it didn't matter because it was sent well over the net by Siobhan Stewart, another one of those aforementioned players who started every game. Rex Epps was their leading scorer last year. As 2 subs about to come in for Cincinnati. We'll tell you it's Sam Robinson, a freshman, and also alongside of him will be Mo Williams, a defenseman, a freshman who actually had started most of their games this year, but on the bench tonight. He will actually slot in at defense, a rare defensive substitution early on in the game with 17 minutes left to go in the first half. But last year, Cincinnati actually gave up the same amount of goals they've given up right now, and in fewer games.
Yeah.
33, and they only scored 13. That's the difference this year. They've gotten some more threats, and as far as offense goes, they've scored 21. But Epps was their leading scorer with just 3 goals, and that gives you an idea how the Bearcats struggled. So with Commission, who's back to scoring, he's got 5, and with Charlton, they've got 2 5-goal scorers, but they really haven't had much of a look here tonight against the Bulls.
Yeah, and you see the coach bringing in, putting in some more freshman players, for Cincinnati. You wonder if, he's already thinking about next season and getting players some experience and playing time, looking at next season.
Adrian Billhart slots it up to Rosales. That's where he served in a nice cross earlier. Flanagan tried to run onto it, and boy, good effort there, but just misses the ball that was always going to be a little bit too strong for him. Again, Cincinnati, it just seems, if you look at their overall record, this would be a team playing out the string, but they still, if things fall their way, will be playing in the American Athletic Conference tournament. Namely, they're going to need to finish ahead of those 2 teams behind them right now, but the problem with that is UConn and Tulsa play each other, so assuming a winner in that game,
someone's going to win.
They could get jumped there, especially if it's UConn. So that's actually the last week of the season, last game of the season, Tuesday. When we wrap up here tonight, we'll sort of set you up for Tuesday. But right now, it's setting up well for the Bulls, leading 2-0 with 15 minutes to go in the first half. There's a long throw, and a good long throw by Cincinnati, headed away by Javane Brown and out of danger by Gallina. That was the 6'3" kid, Trey Asensio, who's been pretty impressive to me. But now a steal by Adrian.
Good chance for a
He's got
break.
Claudel out
3
to
on
his
2.
right. If he times it right, here he's going to have Claudel on. He gives him the ball. Now Ikaza streaking across. Can he get the ball over to him? No. A little bit too much on that.
Yeah,
pass
a little
for
bit too
Claudel.
much. Good idea, good move, but just didn't execute the final ball in for Ikaza. But good to see Ikaza making that run. That's what I want to see more of. You know, Ikaza, Monye, all these guys getting into the penalty area.
It was a great idea there. Oh, that's a good run in by Charlton. We've talked about the 2-5 goal scorers. They are up for Cincinnati. Charlton in the box sends it too high. Boy, that was, and you can see by his reaction too much on that ball. Cincinnati settles it back down. We talked about the freshman Robinson. He sends it in. And it's back out to Cincinnati. Going to try a long-range shot, blocked away by Monje. Of course, it goes right to Monje's ankle. He's got magnets on those things tonight. Drew 2 hard fouls within a short span earlier in this game, and is still out there. In fact, the Bulls have not made a substitution. 14 minutes left to go in the first half.
Yeah, it's just
Tied.
starting to open up a little bit, isn't it? You know, both midfields are pushing on a little bit now, trying to. I mean, Cincinnati has to. They have to come out now and commit a few more players going forward. That creates a little bit more space in the midfield for USF to exploit. So it should be a bit more space for the midfield players now.
2-0 Bulls with 14 minutes left to go. Yeah, they are certainly looking a lot more comfortable. I mean, they played such a tough schedule. And I got to say, looking at Cincinnati's record being just 5-9-1, a lot of the teams they played pre-conference have gone on to have good seasons, so maybe better than the record shows. Oh, that's a good ball.
Good
Again,
ball.
feeding Rosales is Ikaza, and just getting a back foot on it as a Cincinnati player, but out to Bill Hart, top of the box. To Flanagan does his thing, a couple of crossovers. Now to Claudel, can't skip away. Now creates some room for a shot, and it's low, and it's blocked away.
Offside.
Offside, I think, yeah, because the ball hit Ikaza.
Ball hit Ikaza, yeah. Linesman put his flag up immediately.
So that
That's
one
a couple of
blocked
times,
away,
isn't
yeah.
it, that USF has done the defending for Cincinnati there.
Bearcats will take that. But
Yeah.
when I say blocked away, it was the Bulls' Emilio Ikaza doing the blocking, inadvertently, of course. But nonetheless, that's what happened there. 13 minutes left to go. Another substitute set to check in. We mentioned Rex Epps, who was their leading scorer last year. Tape around that right wrist. He's a guy that racked up his first 2 years in college, played for Army, 11 goals his first season, and 8 goals as a sophomore. Then again, led the Bearcats last year, even though it was just 3 goals and 2 assists. He is third on the team in scoring this year.
I think right there, Cincinnati, they're having to bring more attacking players in. 2 goals down, they need something. They're going to have to get at least a goal to get them back in it quickly, and that's going to open up some more space for USF.
Monje commits the foul that time. It was Risco who he rode down, and I wouldn't be surprised if Segre comes over here to play the ball the way he's been serving them in 12 minutes. Yeah, it will be Segre. Javon Stewart wants a short ball, and he plays it right to him. Stewart from the right sends a ball in close to the top of the 6, headed, and both teams saying it was out on the other, and Cincinnati gets the call. So it'll be another corner. Bulls did not agree with that.
No, I thought that came off of Cincinnati, but again, referee was right there. Not that always says he gets it right. Even when the referee's right there, he doesn't always get it right, but yeah, I think he got it right that time.
You know what we need, Alan, that would totally clear that up? Video replay. Wouldn't you like that? No, you're not a fan.
No.
Sometimes you just have to say, all right, it's better than the alternative.
Yeah.
It's better than taking
Keep the
5
game
minutes to
going.
look at it. Yeah. So a corner from the left side, I'm sorry. Right if you're the Bulls defending right now. 11 and a half minutes to go. It's 2-0, but Cincinnati piling up the dangerous, at least would-be opportunities. And that one is headed away beautifully by Rosales. No worry there for the
Yeah,
Bulls.
they've looked solid, haven't they, USF, on set pieces against, everything that's come in. They've cleared, they've got to the ball first, then they've won the second ball. They've defended very well this first half, USF.
So 2-0 here on goals by Javane Brown. And the first penalty kick attempt the Bulls have had all year, Adrian Billhart. And it wasn't one of those, was it a legit penalty or did the guy fall or get pushed? It was a handball in the box. So this ball's coming out to Cincinnati to the foot, and boy, just wasted there. Aaron West, who is a defensive player,
Yeah.
And you could tell there,
You could
he
tell.
shot it well over.
Yeah, he should have hit it first time. Had a chance to hit it first time. He took a touch, and that closed down the angle and blasted it over. But a warning for USF: they can't get complacent here. They've got to keep on, keep their focus, keep defending well, and as I say, put some more goals in down the other end.
West is one, we said, a lot of players from Ohio. One of those guys that has been a staple in their lineup, basically a starter since a freshman, but only 4 career goals, and 3 of those in year 1. So you can see he's lost his scoring touch. The Bulls called for a foul. No, that was Cincinnati called for the foul, even though their player, Sam Robinson, was contacted as well. 10 minutes to go, so we're getting a little bit too much for my liking as far as the back and forth with worrying about calls and not worrying about what's going on the field. Hopefully we can shake out of that right now. Boy, speaking of shaking, over there it's Craigton Charlton. Good move.
Yeah, good ball.
To send it up to Epps, and his first touch is knocked away with less than 10 minutes to go in the first half.
I think that's one thing that coach is going to talk to the USF team, at half-time, is from midfield. They're just giving the ball away a little bit too easily.
Sure.
They're not keeping possession enough, and they're looking for that killer pass every time. And sometimes it's just the easy passes on, keep possession, keep probing, keep passing, quickly. But they're giving it away just a few too many times for me right now.
And corner kicks for Cincinnati up to 4, an example of what you're talking about. Javane Brown on that long throw. They've got the deep throw from Asensio down to an arc, but the Bulls have been able to be fortunate right now. But you can just see a chance coming, and another ball in by Cincinnati, headed away this time by Ikaza, doing well to track back. Sent in that time by Siobhan Stewart. Now the Bulls with Bill Hart and Claudel and maybe Mullenhay turning off on the Jets here. Mullenhay had to veer off of his run, off of the runway, so to speak, as he did have the Jets going. Now he gets the ball from Flanagan, who could be a recipient. He is. Flanagan on the left side, marked well, though, is going to take it short. Could be on, though. Mullenhay gets it over to his left foot. He's got a good touch on the ball normally, but that one skies over for a goal kick.
Yeah, good break, though, from USF. They got numbers into the penalty area. Good quick break. And unfortunately, put the shot over the bar.
Interesting. I was looking down at some of the soccer news going on around tonight, keeping an eye on the scoreboard. And I'll be honest, I know that they started doing this in some other sport, but they revealed the top 16 tonight. I'll tell you why that's important after Harrison. Devonish Mears collides with a teammate. I was going to say gathers the ball, but he gathered a contact there. And, oh, man, I know that it was Javane Brown absolutely unintentionally running into him, and both Brown and Devonish Mears are down. Now, Mears did pop back up to get the ball, but then he stayed down. It looked like he was just holding his throat area.
It's his head, isn't it? It looked like that was one of those uncomfortable ones where the ball comes in between. He hasn't got a lot of pace on it, and he's committed to it. Brown's committed, chasing it, and unfortunately, it was a pretty bad collision there.
It'll give me time to finish the thought that I had before that collision, and we'll keep an eye. Javane's up. Looks like Harry's going to be up, so that's good. But what they do in certain sports is they'll, just to keep the interest level going, I know they do this in women's basketball, they'll announce who the 16 top teams are with a month to go in the season, because those are the teams that get to host regionals.
Yeah.
And the same thing in men's soccer. It's 48 teams that make the tournament. And so the top 16 are the teams that get a bye in that first round, which is very important. And a couple of the teams from the conference, UCF and SMU, are not only in the top 16, they're in the top 8. So that's pretty impressive display.
It is, isn't it? It's a strong conference, isn't it? The USF, it's a tough conference, but that's the type of conference you want to be in. You're playing tough top teams. That's how you gauge yourself.
Another one of them. Wow, look at the last two.
Yeah.
2 teams that the Bulls have gotten results against.
That's right.
Right now would be first round byes. According to the NCAA, that's not some projection. That's where they stand right now, with a couple of weeks before they actually announce the field. And Louisville, a team that the Bulls beat here, is 15th. Maryland, the team that they opened against and lost 2-1-0, is 14th. And FIU is 16th. And if that, to me, is a great sign for the Bulls, because you've got 5 teams there that they played. That means the committee's going to look at that and go, USF's played a pretty tough schedule. Yeah, they
have had a tough schedule. They've done well against everybody. And they've, like you say, they've beaten some of those teams that are already in the top 16.
Well, it's a good bit of news there. And also a big bit of news, Harrison Devonish Mears is back up, and we are back in play with 8 minutes to go. In the first half, Bulls leading at 2-0, looking to add, not looking to sit back at all. Good ball up by Bill Hart, I believe that was, to Jonathan Rosales, who has had free run over there on that right side. Gets it back to Bill Hart. Gallina is rolling up. I think he's going to have a go here before too long from about 30 because he keeps getting up into the play. They didn't find him that time, though, but it's only a matter of time. Now the Bulls finally getting back some possession. And
a giveaway again. Yep, that's one thing they've just got to, just got to kind of get out of their system. These passes that are just a little bit sloppy at times, giving possession away, and where that's going to hurt them is against the top teams.
Exactly. We saw it against SMU in particular. Just did not look like the Bulls that night.
That's it. They'll punish you. The top teams, you give possession away in those areas, and they will punish you.
The one goal that UCF had was just a tremendous, I wouldn't call it a counter, but a break off of a small turnover, and it was just ball down the right side. One touch across, one touch into the back of the net, and you play a team like that, pretty even terms, but that one mistake can really cost you.
Yeah, it does.
There's a ball sent up, and look at the hustle by Claudel to try and slide tackle it in bounds. You can tell he's a freshman to have those legs.
See Coach right there trying to push everybody up. He's trying to get everybody up to the halfway line, and that's, he senses here that Cincinnati, another goal and they will drop their heads. USF sitting back a little bit too much. You want to see them all pushed up. They're only playing one up, Cincinnati. I think USF needs to press up a little bit more and press them into their in their final third. Keep Cincinnati in their final third.
And make those connections work even around the top of the box. You could just tell the Bulls are a step or maybe an extra touched even ball to yourself from uncorking one here today. They've gotten their goals off of set pieces. They haven't had anything too dangerous in the run of play, and I'm sure they'd like to change that. 6 minutes to go, and that's a good run up to Avion Flanagan, and he's run into and dispossessed, but gets it right back, and he gets pushed
free
down.
Kick.
Here comes another free kick, and it was Sam Robinson, the freshman.
And he's given a yellow card as well.
And there was nothing subtle about that. He lost the ball and tried to get it back by pushing Avion Flanagan, and that's especially where I think maybe middle of the park. We're not looking at a card there, but in a scoring position just outside the penalty box.
Yeah. I think there's been a couple of fouls. Cincinnati, I think it's that he was just the wrong guy at the wrong time. They've given away a number of sort of silly fouls, chippy kind of fouls, and this was the last straw for the referee, and whoever it was gets the yellow card.
Sorry, you're
the one.
Trouble. Yep.
Good position though here. This is a great position because if you get it right, you can swing it in towards the far post, and if it gets a touch, great. But if not, it could still go in.
It'll be Gallina taking it. He might go near post with force here. No, low and blocked away. Not the best result there for the Bulls, even though they'll get a throw in here.
Yeah, you really need to kind of whip those in, just head height, and as I say, if any touch is could be a goal.
5.5 minutes left to go in the first half. Bulls are leading it 2-0. Got an early goal just shy of the 6-minute mark from Javane Brown, his third of the year, and Adrian Billhart's third actual goal of the year, second recognized by the NCAA. And we kind of half-heartedly joke about that result against Tulsa and how it was topsy-turvy, but it's got the Bulls into a position where they don't have to worry about making the conference tournament as long as they settle things. And Tulsa, by the way, 0-5. There's a ball sent in deep. Monet tried to stick his leg out and hope for the best. It didn't exactly work out that way. Yet halftime, we'll tell you what's going on elsewhere in the conference. Just to give you an idea, I know it's hard to formulate these words sometimes if you're a USF supporter, but you want UCF to win tonight. You need to cheer for UCF to win tonight.
That's tough to do, isn't it?
I did it. I said it. It's the truth, too, and we'll explain it at halftime and tell you what's going on in that Knights-Memphis game over in Orlando. We'd be cheering for the Knights like they were the Bulls tonight, so maybe that was a correct faux pas. 4.5 minutes to go. Cincinnati breaks out, and they're just trying to whip it forward, hoping for Rex Epps to run onto it, but instead it's Harrison Devonish Mears.
Interesting that USF have not made any subs this half so far, and there's no subs, at the halfway either. So coach is obviously, he's satisfied with the way they're playing. Feels good with the starting 11, and keep them on the field.
That Cincinnati game that they lost, and it was a good example. Garrett McLaughlin, SMU's player, was National Player of the Week, scored 5 goals in that game. He and Cal Jennings, the top 2 scorers in the conference, they really didn't have much of a go against the Bulls. So that Javane Brown was drawn against those 2 guys is such a compliment towards him, even though it's not like they were one-man teams, and that's why they both beat the Bulls. But just passing that along, if you have a top goal scorer doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get his against the Bulls. And
No.
an example.
I think all season long USF defensively have been terrific, and it was just that first half against SMU where they just weren't quite on their game, and they let a couple of goals in early. But other than that, they've been strong. They've been solid. And confident at the back all season long, and that's critical. You need that from your defense. You can build on that.
With 3 minutes to go in the half, Bulls looking to build on a 2-0 lead. Jonathan Rosales comes in, cuts
Good
the
ball
ball to his left, and that might
There it
sink
is.
in, and it does! It might have taken a touch off a Cincinnati player, but that has to go as a goal for the senior, especially on senior night, and he makes it 3-0.
Yeah. And that's what we wanted to see, from the free kick just a few minutes ago, where you play it in with pace, you aim towards that far post, and if it gets a touch, great. But if not, it still sneaks in. The keeper there was expecting a touch. It didn't happen, but it still creeps in that far post. Great time to score.
So Rosales will actually tie Emilio Icaza for the team lead in goals with his 4th of the season. Here's the announcement.
By number 22, Jonathan Rosales.
All right, so
I think the third goal always changes things as well, doesn't it? 2-0 is never a great lead. You can always, get kind of pegged back. The momentum can change very quickly. But once you get that third goal, you can kind of, bring some new players in if you need to. You can sit back a little bit if you want to. It changes everything, that third goal.
And you spoke early on after the first goal of the hang their head nature of Cincinnati, knowing that they know that last year what happened, it was 6-0 before they could blink, and then back here 2 years ago it was 5-2. That they've got to be thinking, oh man, what's the final score going to be here tonight?
And you just let 7 in just recently too. That's right. Confidence is already low. And now it's a good chance for USF. What you're looking for now is to build on this, because you're going to take this now into the next game. So, you've got to keep working, keep getting into good habits, do the right thing, and get plenty of goals and get that confidence going.
And certainly the Bulls want to carry this confidence along, not only in this game, but in their next game. And
Absolutely.
It's a great start here tonight. Again, a win guarantees a spot in the conference tournament and a chance to still have one more home game. We'll give you all those permutations at halftime. Ball over to Jonathan Rosales, who just took it on in his last time out. This time sends it back with just under 2 minutes to go. Bill Hart wanted to find him, but it's going to roll out for a goal kick.
And whoever USF plays, in the conference, the next game, they're not going to want to play USF. This is a tough team to come up against, and with their confidence is up, if they get a few more goals tonight, they're going to be a difficult team to play against USF.
It'll be Tuesday night in Memphis, which is having some sort of year, and is playing over in Orlando. Again, we'll give you an update at halftime. Really, really cool. I got to say, speaking of Orlando, to see the USF women's team, they probably didn't have the most fun bus ride back from UCF after losing 1-0, and the opposing goalkeeper, who's a kid from Wharton, just absolutely made some miraculous saves to keep it 1-0. That was the score, but they've come back out here to support their men's team, and it's always vice versa with those two programs. It is just at the minute mark, as you might have heard.
First half of play.
Very baritone voice PA guy here, who I'm quite jealous of, and his hair is magnificent. Bulls leading it 3-0. Final minute of play here in the half. The shot count pretty much in line with the score line. It's 10-5 in favor of the
Good
Bulls.
defending again by Brown. Mazzaferro played he posted up. Brown dropped in behind him. Good covering by the two centre halves.
Now the Bulls maybe could add one on here. Again, no substitutions. Victor Claudel up to Monhay with 30 seconds left. He's going to hang on to the ball here and basically make it so that this will be the last opportunity for the Bulls. I assume they'll try for an opportunity as they're still in their own half now with 18 seconds left on the clock. Of course, they don't need to.
Just keep possession a little bit now, isn't it? They've done great. Good first half. Good performance.
And Icaza will actually turn up to Bill Hart, and maybe Rosales will have one. He knows he's got to crank it from 30 yards. A good ball, but it's going to go over. Would have counted if it had been in.
Yeah.
But good round of applause there by the crowd here, as befits the effort by the home team. USF, 3 goals from 3 different scores. A penalty kick from Adrian Billhart, and a goal and an assist by Jonathan Rosales, the senior. And they have the lead at the half by the score of 3-0. We'll take you around the rest of the scores and give you the entire conference rundown. Not only that, we'll tell you what the women's team has in front of it, because its regular season ended last night. And we've got a special guest as well. If you are an old school USF fan, You might not even remember this name, but you're going to learn all about him, and I'm going to learn all about him. We'll tell you more when we hit the half. This is men's soccer on USF Bulls Unlimited. Oh, thank you. Good call. This game having a, fortunately, similar vibe to it as the last two for the Bulls against Cincinnati. I mentioned we'll keep an eye on that UCF-Memphis score. And for the Bulls, again, hard as it is to, you don't actually have to say it, you can just think it. You want UCF to win that game. It's not the only way that the Bulls can control their fate for hosting a conference tournament game, but it's the main one. You want Memphis to drop those points tonight. Now we're trying to get something going here is Charlton for Cincinnati. You can see he's a very skillful player, again, with 5 goals, and a skillful diver as well, as it turns out, as he was just touched down and made the most of it, as they say, and trying to get
it's a shame because
kick
Brown he kind of defended him well there, just held his ground and didn't dive in, and then as I say, right at the end there he did put his leg in and gave a foul away. That's not the area you really want to give free kicks away.
So Charlton's back there along with, he's from the right side. I believe that's Segre from the left. Charlton's the big goal scorer, so you would think he's going to try something here from around 25 yards. Maybe about 30 yards. It will be Charlton. That's a great ball, but high. And when I say great, I probably should have gone not so bad because it was well over the goal. Wasted opportunity for Cincinnati of the few they've had. Good crowd here at Corbett Stadium, including you see that dog?
Must be I wasn't sure if it was a cat or a dog
Yeah,
at first.
no, it's got that weird nose. You're not supposed to bring your pets to the park, but unless it's bark with a bull's knife. But this thing is obviously a little baby, so I guess it's okay.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a member of the women's soccer team. Her name will be off the broadcast. I don't want to get her in trouble, but that's a cute dog. 3 minutes into the second half, everything's looking cute here tonight and attractive as the Bulls are up 3-0 the scoreline, the most of which Adrian Billhart, his 3rd goal of the year on the penalty kick, made it 2-0. And the Bulls added one on sort of a why not just have a go opportunity for the senior, Jonathan Rosales. So he's got a goal and an assist on senior night. Emilio Ekaza almost scored. So he's imminently able to do it, and I would be very surprised if we don't see Stephen Rutherham get a chance out there, maybe as the first sub. Keep an eye on the Bulls bench to our left.
Yeah, I think Coach, he's going to say he's obviously said at half-time, and he's going to keep saying to the guys, you don't lose your focus, don't get sloppy here. It's important that, we start this second half, on the front foot, keep the confidence, keep the level going that we've been playing at, and get some more goals. And at the moment, USF just sitting back a little deep, and you can see Coach right there on the sidelines. He's trying to push them up to the halfway. Step up. They're playing a high line. USF, they need to keep stepping up. When they win the ball, then they haven't got as far to go.
And now Cincinnati actually enjoying a little bit of possession, and Javane Brown tried to dupe the official there a little bit, acting like he wasn't touching Stewart, even though he had contact on him the whole time, just not upper body contact. Well, Cincinnati's Craigton Charlton did a good job there to keep the ball in play, but played it out for a throw-in for the Bulls. We have played 4 minutes in the second half. Bulls certainly not going to, let's say, press forward for anything here, but not going to sit back either way. You want to fine-tune parts of your game,
That's right.
Think about the games, Alan, where the finishing hasn't been there. You can work on that.
That's right, exactly. I think that's the thing. You want to work on all the offensive things. I mean, that's when you're getting down towards the end of the season and then into the postseason. It's all about scoring goals. It's about taking your chances. You keep a clean sheet. That's great, but you've got to score goals, and that's what they need to be working on tonight.
Cincinnati giving up the first 2 goals on set pieces, and the last one was sort of a fluke play, so we haven't had a true run-up goal for the Bulls. That's something you like to have. And speaking of that, Gallina with the good build-up over to Monje on the left side, has space in the middle. Has Ikaza to square it up to. Might have a go from distance, instead chips it up, gets away from the intended target, but Victor Claudel grabs the ball. Oh, an idea there to chip it inside tight quarters to Gallina didn't work out. Flanagan goes on the ground. It was funny to ask Gavin Turner at halftime about what he likes about this team, and Claudel was the guy. And he slots it forward to Billhart for a chance at a second goal, and it gets knocked away. I think that had beaten the keeper, but Mo Williams comes in there and knocks it away. It'll be a corner.
Yeah, it's a great ball into Billhart, and did the right thing, tried to go across the goalkeeper. Good defending by Cincinnati, but those are the balls in behind the defense. Just slide those balls in behind the centre halves, and get some chances.
And they're going to get a chance off the corner kick. After that, Avion Flanagan will be the individual taking it from the right side. He's going to whip it in there from the left foot. Javane Brown looking to add to his output of goals from the corner. Instead, it's going to go into Ikaza. Gets away from the intended target, but Henrik Gallina chases it down in the corner. Gets around a defender. That's Asensio out there on him. Gallina showing some skill here. Decent ball, but it was eyed up well by Cincinnati, and now Charlton wants to use his speed, but breaking him down was Bill Hart.
Great
Pop
ball.
it forward to Flanagan on the right side. Low cross in. That's a chance, and Ikaza just missed it. He was flying in.
Yep.
That was the right idea, the right play. Rosales to Gallina, again blocked away by Cincinnati, which has numbers in the box. That was West, the man who committed the handball that led to the penalty kick, and it'll end up with a goal kick. Ikaza just threw back his head. He knew how beautiful of a connection that would have been.
I think if he had size 12 cleats on, he would have got that one. Needs to get some bigger cleats.
He slid in, feet first, and did all he could to get to that ball. Now a Cincinnati player, I think, might have gotten one in the face, Mo Williams.
It's a good cross from Flanagan as well. You know, they kept it low into the near post. That's the danger area. Good ball in, and good to see Ikaza. You know, tonight Ikaza, Monnier, you know, they've all got into the penalty area. Gaina, you know, it's good to see the midfield players getting into the penalty area. That's where you're going to score goals, in that penalty spot, 6-yard box area. That's where you've got to get bodies in there.
And they could certainly, rack up some goals here tonight, but Ikaza definitely, he had the 2 against Lipscomb. He's got 4 to lead the team. I don't know about you, but you want to see your team leader be around the 7, 8, or even more goal mark. And it's not like the Bulls are an inept offensive team. They just have, as we alluded to before, just haven't always had that finishing touch.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what coach will look at in the off season. You know, is I think as a coach you go into it and you think, okay, I've got my 2 forwards. I expect 20 plus goals from them. From midfield, you've got to be looking at 20 to 30 goals from your midfield players. So you say, okay, I can get maybe 10 goals from this guy, 5 or 6 from this guy, but you've got to get 20, 30 plus goals from your midfield. It's critical if you're going to be successful. And so I think that's what he's going to look at in the off season, is maybe getting a few more offensive minded players in the midfield, or working on them to create and score more goals.
Bulls officially have outscored their teams, if you include Tulsa this year, 20-16, and that would be in the course of 13 games. And played some tough defenses out there. Of course, starting off with the defending national champion Maryland, got shut out by them. Tough one here at home. They lost 2-0 to Ohio State, and also at home to SMU 3-0. The 3 games they got blanked. And Mo Williams will have to depart. He took something off the left eye there. You could see it. He's having trouble seeing anything right now, so that's the first sub out. In fact, they're going to take him basically inside. See him walking to my left, so let's hope that might require
hopefully he's
some stitches.
okay.
Who knows?
But I think, as you said there, you look at the Maryland game, SMU, UCF, those big games, and USF didn't score in those games. And if you're going to beat the best, you got to score, and that's a big piece, I think, going forward, looking to the rest of this season and next season. So they've got to score more goals.
And you look at, you'll have Bill Hart back and Claudel, and they like Ignacy Lupon, and he will be called upon to play more. The freshman who's actually gotten a couple starts, but Bill Hart back in the starting lineup tonight. I think Gallina can be a big part of that attack.
Absolutely, that's right. I mean, you've got the players. It's just working on getting that mentality of getting forward and scoring more goals. But certainly the personnel that coach has, some real quality players.
Send it up to Bill Hart. Good work there by Ikaza. Has Claudel making a run in the middle of the box, but Bill Hart's going to try and get something more accurate. Claudel makes himself available and drops to Ikaza. Over to an unmarked Monhe, but he gets run down by Cincinnati. Now he's in the middle of 2 Bearcats and loses the ball. Ikaza back to Monhe, but a little bit too much on it. So good work there. Ikaza trying to feed Jose Monhe, who just held his head in his hands like, oh, yeah, I had some chances there.
But I think that was what we were just saying. You'd like to see Ikaza take the shot there. He had a half a yard there inside the penalty area. You want to see that when they get a chance to take the shot.
And I think that's another example. Monhe, who is a player that after his freshman season took that number 10 jersey the next year. You've got to have that mentality, and that's fine, but I think he could be a little bit more sharper, and he knows that, and that was a good example of it. But an example of a player that could have more offensive output than maybe he has put out there on the field. And certainly the Bulls will be looking forward to that. It's not closing the book on this season. There's still much more time, maybe even in this half, which has 36 minutes left in it. 3-0 USF leads. The Bulls wearing the white, going left to right. Cincinnati Bearcats wearing the all black. They will be finishing up their season against UCF. We can tell you that game is at halftime in Orlando. No score yet. Again, UCF first place in the conference. Memphis in second place, a point behind. Memphis, though, is a team, even though the Bulls are 6 points behind them entering the night, they can still catch. If they were to win their 2 and Memphis were to lose their 2. And, of course, USF can have a direct hand in that because that's who they play on Tuesday night. Ball up to Javane Brown. Victor Claudel has it. Plays it a little bit too long. Right idea, but poor execution.
But, up until that point, some great passing from USF, much quicker, sharper passing than perhaps at times in the first half. They're moving the ball quicker, much crisper, and more pace on the passes. That's what you want to see. So it's a good start from USF. Just an end result at the moment. Need a few more goals.
Harrison Devonish Mears would probably prefer a little bit more activity in general tonight. In fact, the busiest action he took was when he went down after a collision. I don't believe he's had to make a save. He's credited with 1. And if it doesn't come to my mind easily, that kind of gives you an idea. Maybe it's one of those corner kicks there you had to get a touch on the ball to send it wide. Cincinnati did have a run of several in about a 10-minute span, but that was their big opportunity to score. And that was when it was 1-0, but the Bulls got a second goal off a penalty kick from Adrian Billhart and a third goal by Jonathan Rosales. I tell you, Bob Udhorn is still on his feet, not sitting back.
Yeah, he's trying to tell the guys they've got to get width, they've got to break out wide. When USF has the ball, they have to break out wide and open up the space. When they lose it, they condense and all tuck in. But when they have the ball, they need to spread out, open up, and get the ball out wide.
Good observation there. Rosales has been the guy that's had a lot of those chances here when they've been there for the Bulls, and he wins a throw-in. And Adrian Billhart with some nifty work getting ahead of an onrushing defender and, in fact, sliding it back to Mazzaferro, who gets it back up to Victor Claudel.
I think he was looking for Flanagan there to make a run, and they just weren't quite on the same page there. But if Flanagan makes the run in behind his fullback, I think Billhart was looking to kind of slip the ball in behind there.
Claudel has done a nice job of making some runs here tonight.
Yeah, he has. He's a very smart player. He runs off the shoulder of the defense, but he's always looking to make those runs into the channels. Some good runs in behind the defense, and he can finish as well. That's the good thing. There's an end result when he gets in the penalty area.
Henry Gallina wins the ball, drops it off to Emilio Ikazu, who's looked very comfortable out there tonight. If anything, a little bit unselfish for a senior, not looking to get that one going.
There's that ball.
A little bit of a hold up to Flanagan. He still gets it in and requires a save by Lawrence. That's going to be a corner.
Yeah, and that's that ball. Should be every time just sliding it inside the fullback, opens up the space, and then it pulls the defense out.
Chippy Guerrero is going to come in, and he's a guy that basically has been starting over Monhay, and he's going to get his first action with about 32 minutes left in this game. Richard LaValle is going to go in as well. And here's a short corner kick taken by the Bulls. Rosales up to Flanagan. Music still playing. The extended mix of the corner kick music. Rosales sends it in. And, Monhay had a header on the ball. It's still loose. I thought there was a foul committed by the Bulls, not seen by the official there. But no harm, no foul. Bulls have it at midfield. Wind starting to pick up here, as you might be able to hear. A little bit on the exactly the perfect weather tip that we had earlier this morning when we finally got temperatures in the 60s, so let's just keep it that way. I can actually get up and not have to worry about wiping sweat off my brow.
Yeah, it's perfect conditions for soccer tonight, isn't it?
32 minutes left. It's been good for the Bulls. Cincinnati, where it's cold right now. Probably enjoying these conditions actually as well. Billhart, good nifty move there and keeps the ball. Believe that's Claudel, but he had to hold his runner. He would have been off. Back to Ikaza, therefore. Surveying his options, Monhay, could he have a rip? He's been dribbling into trouble. He's going to dribble into the box and go low with it. Knocked away by Cincinnati. I believe that was... Let's get this ball for it. And it's an offside call. I was just about to get excited with Rosales, possibly for a second goal, and he knocked it in easily, but he, I believe, was the player that was offside.
Great cross in.
Also Lauren.
I think it was close offside there. Just ran a little bit too soon, but that's the service that forwards were like.
You got 31 minutes left in this one. No issues here for the Bulls. 3-0. Again, this will be their last home match of the season unless they win at Memphis Tuesday, and they need helped by UCF tonight to beat Memphis to set it all up perfectly there. The Tigers right now are tied with UCF at the half. They could potentially, though, drop from 2nd seed to 5th seed in the span of 5 days. So I wouldn't be surprised if Memphis is playing for overtime in that one. Probably not a smart approach against UCF. They've gone 5 overtimes. The other night, after UCF was their only regulation game in their last 6, they went to overtime against Stetson and, of course, won the thing. They won 4 overtime games in their last 6, haven't dropped one in OT. And, part of me is impressed by that, and the other part of me is like, their luck's going to run out at some time.
Yeah,
It's still it's a sign of a good team, though, obviously.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is down to fitness, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's, when you're able to pull it out in overtime all the time, you're good fitness.
Good run up, fit by Bill Hart, and shoots it over. Claudel had the.
But that's okay. He took players on. He ran at the defense there, and needs to keep doing that. Need to keep on pushing, keep getting those chances. Take the defense on, run at them. There's more goals in this, and that's what USF needs to be working on right now.
I approve of this substitution. The doppelgangers are replacing each other, so it'll be Laval in for look-alike Gallina. It'll be Guerrero in for Emilio Icaza, the senior. I'm sure he'll get a good hand here. Absolutely. Bearcats make a couple of subs as well. So I like this move by Bob Budenhorn. We talked about how they have that big game against Memphis, and that's before you know it. Or here on a Friday night, they're going to be on the road on a Tuesday. You really have to monitor your minutes. And I would not be surprised if we get several more substitutions. In fact, Stephen Rutterham is up, so the senior's going to get in. Looks like Lupon, the freshman we talked about as well, so I would anticipate Bill Hart getting an early night. Cincinnati works the ball decently, but Ben Hrishko's attempted pass is intercepted by Matt Zafiro. Really Cincinnati's first good look here since that free kick that they wasted over the net early in the second half. We have 29 minutes left, still 3-0 Bulls. That shot total has risen up out of nowhere. I didn't realize it was up to 19. Maybe they're counting shots that get blocked at the top of the box. Some people aren't as liberal when they score the shots. Yeah, 19-6.
It's a challenge for USF right now, though, because Cincinnati isn't really causing any problems. They're really not putting much pressure on them, and so the tendency is to kind of be relaxed and a little bit overconfident.
He's on here, though. Bill Hart with a chance at a second goal, and it gets over the keeper, but Lawrence, I think it took a deflection off the defensive player, is able to scramble back and make the save. Yeah,
it was a great chance there, and I'd like to have seen him finish that one. But these chances are on. If USF can just keep on putting the pressure on, there's plenty of chances here. There's wide open spaces in this defense, and want to see USF kind of push a little bit more.
I think what we're going to end up seeing is this inflection of scoring options. You're going to see 2 forwards come in, Lupon and Jackson. They're probably licking their chops right now, but you're right. When you have such a comfortable lead, it can almost lead to a little bit of lackadaisical.
Yeah.
I know that's not a word, but that's not what you want.
You don't have to move the ball that fast. You're not under any pressure. But you want to see good habits, and you got to be preparing for the next games. The big ones.
There's some big ones coming up for the Bulls. And that's a good long ball up to Bill Hart, who just had a second goal chance denied by Cincinnati's defense. Sends it back. Does Rosales to Guerrero just in the game. Chippy with some nifty work. Shields off the defender, sends it to Monhay. Someone has taken some pictures of Guerrero. Must be a fan. You can hear someone's shutter moving quite often there. 27 minutes left. Murphy, who's been silent, but that's good for the defense. Just like Harrison Devonish Mears, I'm sure he doesn't mind a not so busy night. Presses up. Now to Claudel, trying to get a connection here tonight. And he earns the foul there. It'll be a chance here for the Bulls. No Gallina, he would be a candidate to take this, so let's see who takes it instead. Right straight on from about 25 yards. They're going to go to Laval.
Looks like Laval, yeah. Gallina's thinking, man, if I could have stayed on another couple of minutes, I'd have had this one.
Well, here's the guy that resembles him in many ways, and if he does what Gallina would do here, he's going to try and strike it to the right post, because that's the curling shot that the right footer possesses. But let's see. The wall is shielding him that way. And he's going to run up Laval, and he takes it in that direction.
Good effort.
What an effort.
Yeah, it was good effort.
High and wide.
Yeah.
So absolutely what he had in mind and just missed. Got it around the wall. Sometimes you have to look at the wall.
Yeah, you generally the rule of thumb is that you aim for the third head in the wall, and that's the kind of your target line, and with some pace and some bend on it, and hopefully it just misses that third head and curls into the top corner. Easy as that.
Simple. I guess now I'm going to keep an eye on the third head.
There you go.
There you go. And by the way, the crowd are reacting to the fact that Stephen Rutherham is getting up. The senior is going to get in. And it's Victor Claudel, the two forwards coming out. As we said, the two replacements, Lupon and Trey Jackson. So the next substitution will be in the midfield with Rutherham and Freddie Gill. Bill Hart had the penalty kick goal, had a chance at a couple more here tonight. Bulls sitting on 3 goals, but more importantly, not really being threatened by Cincinnati. It's a comfortable 3-goal lead. This does not feel like the FIU game, in other words. In fact, I'm saying his name for the first time in the half, Darren Commission, who is the lead scorer for Cincinnati, and he had a ball sent up to him that missed him by a good 20 yards. So the Bearcats are just struggling right now.
That's a good switch. Good ball.
And it's up to Trey Jackson. Tries to chop it down to himself, but it's played out by Trey Asensios, who had a nice game. And as poorly as it looks for Cincinnati right now, again, they are not out of it. They still have a chance to make the conference tournament as a 6th seed, and they can even do it with losing this game into UCF as long as everything falls perfectly with the 2 teams behind them. But I'll be honest, they right now anyway aren't playing like a conference tournament team, but it's still possible. There's the cheers for Rutherham into the game. We got some Stephen Rutherham posters, his entire clan here from Pinellas County. So he'll probably play these last 24 minutes. Let's get him a goal, huh? What do you say?
Yeah, it'll be nice to see, and I'm no coach. I want to see all his players getting in on the action and looking to score some goals.
Well, Jackson finds him in the middle of the box, and he passes it up to Lupon, but it's to the goalkeeper, Noah Lawrence. So already some action from the subs. And as I said, we're probably licking their chops to get into the game. 24 minutes.
I think it's true, as you said, though, Derek. You look at these teams, and you got one team, Cincinnati, that just looks like they want the season over. They just their body language, they just look beaten, and then you got USF, who they're starting to get that momentum going, and they're starting to believe that hey, we can go if we get into the postseason. It's a whole new season.
I know that Cincinnati knows they're still in it, but they just don't look like the team
No.
that has that confidence. Of course, listen, no, everyone's going to look unconfident against SMU, and once you fall behind 3-0, it's tough. Javane Brown takes a nick there, but he's going to get back up. So Cincinnati will finish up actually hosting UCF. That is on Tuesday night. So, boy, if you're the Bearcats, you're hoping, I guess, for other results to go your way, because to expect to beat UCF is just asking for a lot, the way they are playing right now. Again, if you're the Bulls, you want UCF to win tonight against Memphis. We'll let you know if anything happens in that game. They just started the second half, no score. Again, if UCF wins, then the Bulls will be back at home if they beat Memphis on Tuesday. That will earn the Bulls a top 4 finish in the conference, which gets you a home conference tournament game, but not unless Memphis loses tonight. Halfway through the second half, and the Bulls comfortably in front 3-0. So they still have the 3 defenders that started the game back there. Pretty much everything else has changed. Rosales, the senior, is still out there, and that is the only member beside the back 4, if you will, of the starting lineup on the pitch right now. And that's not only because of the depth that Bob Uthorn has, but as we were talking about earlier, good acrobatic play there by one of those defensive plays, Javane Brown. But you want to be able to rest your guys for that game against Memphis on Tuesday night.
Yeah, and also, get them in the game, get them some playing time. You're going to need them, in these next few games, hopefully. So you want to get everybody some playing time.
Rosales was just getting physical there with Ben Risco and able to win the ball temporarily. Cincinnati has it right now. Risco and Rosales still going at it, and he finally is going to get whistled. That time he held on too long to Rex Epps. So it would be a free kick for Cincinnati, good 35 yards from goal on the left side. So good work turned in by the Bulls as they lead at 3-0. Early goal from Javane Brown, his third, off of the feed from Rosales on the corner. Adrian Billhart, after a handball, took the penalty kick and got the goal to make it 2-0, and then it was Rosales himself taking one that I think the goalkeeper thought was going to get deflected and never did. It's a good ball sent in, deflected, and cleared away finally by the Wolves. Freddie Gill doing a nice job there. Now Trey Jackson just wants to get rid of it. No, he tries to turn it into some build-up here in dangerous territory. Bulls still haven't cleared it out. Finally, Rosales does. Gets deflected, but to a couple of bowls. Now numbers on here.
Yeah,
for
now there's
USF.
space, isn't there? The space is opening up a bit now.
Rutherham sends it across to Trey Jackson, patiently waits for the ball. Now Rutherham is just flying out there, and he sees him, does Jackson. Rutherham has it now on the American Conference logo. Tries to get inside of Cincinnati, and you hear the Rutherham fan club saying he's pushing, the he being Mason Volker.
Yeah, he did well. He did well there. He was outnumbered, but he held his ground there, was strong in the tackle, and won a corner.
And let's see who takes the corner, because the normal Rosales, of course, is still out there, so he'll take it. Other options are Flanagan and Bill Hart. They are on the bench, no doubt, for the rest of the night. 20 and a half minutes left in this one.
Need a good service here. You know, Cincinnati's goalkeeper doesn't really come for anything. He stays on his line. If you watch, you see him here, he'll stay on his line. So it's important to put the ball in that penalty and that penalty spot area and let them attack it.
That was sent
And
in
he
well.
has come for that
of course,
one.
he must have heard you.
He must have heard me.
I'll show
That's
you.
the first
Alan.
one he's come for tonight.
It was Gill actually taking that kick, by the way. It was a good lefty that Lawrence was able to grab.
Yeah.
Noah Lawrence has been the goalkeeper for most of their games. He is out of Mount Vernon, New York. 20 minutes left in this one. 3-0 Bulls. Again, regardless of the outcome here, the Bulls' next game will certainly be a tough one at Memphis on Tuesday night. Memphis, the team that beat SMU. That's all you need to know about them. Beat them at their place, 4-3. And really what was a spectacular game was a foul by Cincinnati near the USF penalty box. Watch that game. And actually, it was 4-3. Memphis beats SMU in Dallas. And so I just wanted to fast forward to the second half, because there were all these goals in a short period of time. But the spectacular goal was actually in the first half by SMU. And then it was boom, boom. Memphis had the lead, tied it up. SMU was up 3-1, and just like they were going to salt it away. Memphis tied it with 2 quick goals. It was an amazing situation. And then in the overtime, it was real quick off of a corner kick. The Tigers stunned SMU. So that's who the Bulls have their hands full with on Tuesday night.
Yeah, there's no easy games, is there? Especially when you're on the road as well. But and that's why this game is critical. You know, you want to play this second half strong. You know, put the pressure on, score some more goals, but keep the pace of the game up, and so that you finish this game strong and then start the next game strong.
Real quick, it was actually SMU was up 2-1 and Memphis took the lead, and SMU actually answered like on the next kick, and then it went to overtime. But either way, it was a crazy and impressive game from the Memphis side. So that's listen, if the Tigers end up winning or tying tonight against UCF, they kind of earn it. But hoping for some help there are the Bulls tonight. 18.5 minutes left in this one. The Bulls are doing the helping themselves out easily tonight against Cincinnati. Jonathan Rosales sends it over to Rutherham. Oh, and he chests it down on the fly and just scores. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was in. So close. It looked like a perfect setup by Rutherham, and I thought that had the far post, but it just goes wide.
I think that must have been an inch or two away. It was a good save by the keeper there, but it's a great ball, great switch, and good first touch from Rutherham. Took the on his chest, took it into his stride, and good strike on goal across the keeper. Was unlucky there not to score.
That was a tremendous settle, as you mentioned. Good first touch. So now all the starters, but the back 3 on the D-line and the goalkeeper are out of this one. And who knows, the Bulls actually might make a substitution in net. They could. We saw Cooper Blay stretching earlier. 17.5 minutes to go. Gill will take the corner, sends it across. Gordon Phipps, by the way, is in for Rosales. So resetting the Bulls lineup is what we'll have to do here in a second after this threat.
It's all changed now.
It's not what we're familiar with in the last 17 minutes of a game, but we're familiar with all the players, just not all on the field at the same time. So the back 3 the same. Looks like Lupin up there with Rutherham and Jackson, so you got 3 forwards. And 4 in the middle of the park. Laval, who just played it up to Rutherham, also
Good
Gil
ball.
Guerrero, and
There's that ball inside the fullback again.
wonderful out to the left.
cross.
And there it is for
There's the
Jackson.
goal.
He rips it in. What a strike by
Simple.
Trey
No,
Jackson.
it's simple when you do it right. You play the ball in, you run at the defense, you play inside the fullback. It opens up the defense. The centre halves have to come, and then that opens up space in the middle. You make a good run to the near post, slide the ball in, finish it. Put it on target. That's the play, and that's what you want to see the USF doing over and over.
Freddie Gill's the one who sent in the ball. There was still plenty of work left to be done by Jackson, but he just absolutely did not hesitate, did not hold back, and just had to go and it skyrocketed into the upper part of the net for a
Yeah.
4-0 lead.
We've said all season, Jackson takes up some great positions. He makes great late runs. He starts out the far post and he sprints to the near post. Makes good runs, and he's always going to get chances. As long as you put some good service in, he'll get on the end of things.
Gill has, by the way, 4 assists this season. That's pretty good for a guy who doesn't have as many minutes regularly as some other players. And for Jackson, he had exactly 2 goals in his first 2 seasons, and he is on that mark now with his second goal of the season.
Yeah.
The way it's looking, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another. He's just looking fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that's right there. That's the textbook, play there of how you open up teams that bunker in. That's the perfect play.
He had the big goal against Marquette, the game winner to made it 2-1. Remember when they were having so many opportunities?
Offside.
There you go. You talk about putting himself in a good spot. I recall in that game, he actually let the ball, it was coming from his right, and actually held off of kicking it with his right foot, letting it roll over to his left and slotting it inside the post. But there was no waiting around on that shot right there.
And he's a really valuable player to have coming off the bench, because you're going to have a number of games where it's tied or you're 1 down and you need that goal, and he gets in great positions, so he's always going to get a chance. As long as they can put the service in, he'll find opportunities and score some goals for you.
Bulls have taken to their recent history against Cincinnati of scoring plenty of goals. Bearcats have now given up 37 of them in their 16th game. Actually, they were giving up less than 2 a game before they played SMU, but that average has taken a hit with 7 against the Mustangs and now 4 here tonight against the Bulls. They gave up 5 in a game earlier this year against Western Michigan. Trey Jackson, who just scored the 4th for the Bulls, gets fouled. I was saying earlier how they played some good teams in the pre-conference run-up, and the first game was against Mercer, and that team is right now actually leading the Southern Conference. They've got a fantastic record. And Albany, the team they beat in the second game, they're second in a pretty strong lead. The American East, which has a team, New Hampshire, that's 12-0-2 right now, top 20. So they played a good schedule. They always play Xavier and Wright State. They're big-time rivals up there, Bowling Green. But man, once they've gotten into the American, except for that one big win, as it turned out, at Tulsa, and the tie against Temple, that is it for them. Now Laval again with a free kick, curves it in, and there's Jackson, but he's going to let it go, and maybe someone else could have had it.
Yeah, needed some more players to attack that, didn't they? They all kind of waited for the ball, and instead of going and attacking the ball, they kind of waited for it, and that allowed Cincinnati to clear.
14 minutes left, and another substitution for the Bulls. In fact, we'll bite into the defense, it would appear, with Marcus Murphy coming out. So the Bulls going to the bench, Sergio Pineros-Mayorga, the freshman from Tampa. And this could be a full swap out by the end of it all. I'm trying to think who else could come in and play defense for the Bulls.
Yeah.
2 more players out there, Javane Brown and Sal Mazzaferro, who stayed on the field.
Yeah, but this is a good opportunity now to do that and give some time to some of the other guys that haven't had a lot of time. He may need them in postseason or in some of these games coming up, so it's good to get them on. You still want to keep a clean sheet, though. You don't want to give anything away. You've won the game, but you still don't want to give anything away. This is important that they keep it tight defensively. Keep pushing on. If I'm the coach now, I tell all the rest of these guys, midfield forwards, to chase everything. Go close down, go hustle, put pressure on the ball instantly. Win the ball and go get some more attacks going. Take any pressure off the defense.
Well, I'll tell you what, I definitely don't want to be too critical here of Cincinnati, but usually when you're behind at halftime by any score, right, you're going to tend to have at least some of the better of the play. It's a decent long effort there from way away for some degree. That will be their second shot of the half. That's the point I was going to make. The shot totals are at least close. But it was, at halftime, 11-6. Until that shot, it was 12-1 Bulls in the second half. That just shows you how Cincinnati has nothing on right now.
Yeah, it's just damage control right now for Cincinnati. They just don't want to give up, too many more goals. But they're not looking really to try and get back into this game. Now it's so this is the chance for USF to go pile on some more pressure and get some more chances.
There's a ball up forward from one freshman to the other. Pineros-Mayorga to Ignacio Lupon, who's going to force a pass back to the keeper, Lawrence, who gets it out of danger. Chippy Guerrero over to Gordon Phipps. Solid player. Always makes some nice scoring threats. He usually provides some good offense off the pitch. We're going to get, I believe, his first goal this season. Check the stats here in a second. Yeah, he's No goals, no assists, but the way it's going tonight, wouldn't be surprised if he gets in on the action. We've got 12 minutes left. Love to see Stephen Rutherham, the senior, get something. He drops it back to Laval. Rutherham had a fantastic chance just go wide not too long ago. And now Trey Jackson is in again, but goalkeeper read it. I think he was offside. They're going to wave that off since the keeper got it. Lawrence is going to roll it up to his teammate Kyle Healy.
You see here USF just kind of backing off a little bit. They need to step up, put some pressure on the ball. There's no need for them to drop off. Cincinnati's not causing them any trouble. They're not putting the ball over the top, so they can press USF here and, try and win the ball. Anything that goes through like that goes straight through to the goalkeeper.
Route 1 effort there by Asensio, and that is the best shot Cincinnati has right now to, as you said, unfettered, play it up from defense and hope one guy runs onto it. But Bulls are obviously coming ahead on that scheme. Phipps loses it out of bounds, tried to keep it. Good pressure there by Cincinnati. That was Cameron Panley. 8 games started, but none since their first 2 in conference play, so we've seen some changes in the lineup on Cincinnati's side by their head coach Hilton Days again in his 19th year. They had a nice run in the Big East, made it to the NCAA tournament 3 years in a row, but since basically the middle of the 2000s, nothing doing. Last trip to the NCAAs was 2007. They're just hoping to make it to the conference tournament this year, something they could not do last season. 10.5 minutes left to go, and right now, technically, they still are in the 6th spot. They still are in, pending other results, as they say at the post-game show. We'll give you a quick scoreboard after we sign off and tell you exactly what's going on. But right now, here, it's 4-0 with 10 minutes to go. USF in good shape. They've subbed everyone out but for their goalkeeper and 2 of their 3 starting defensive players.
Yeah, and although they've made all these changes, USF, the shape has stayed the same. They've done good. They've hustled. They've closed down, and they haven't given Cincinnati anything at all, which is good sign. You want to make sure that you're tight defensively in all these games, and they haven't given Cincinnati anything.
Phipps and Gill are your wings right now. So Gill is the Flanagan and Phipps is the Rosales. And Pineros Mayorga has come into Murphy's spot, as you mentioned, not changing their shape. Trey Jackson toe pokes it up to Lupon. That'll work. Chippy in the middle of the park. Less than 10 minutes to go in this 4-0 game. No need to hurry. Gives the freshman Pineros Mayorga a touch. Javane Brown gives it back. Man, everyone starts by talking about teams' goal scorers, but Javane Brown, as I'm saying that, he's going to have to play some defense right here. That's a good combination by Cincinnati into the box. Boy, that was quick, but it closes down quickly.
Yeah, there's 4 USF players around the ball there. It's tremendous covering for each other and defending. Really, really good work there from USF.
Rex Epps, again, the returning leading scorer from last year, I thought could have one-touched it after that nice pass in tight quarters, but tried to get fancy with it, and that's when the 4 USF Bulls closed up on him. But yeah, Javane Brown, as I was saying, just excellent. Just excellent.
Yeah, coach will be pleased with that. They've won the game, but they're still not giving anything away. They're taking a real pride in keeping a clean sheet, and that's important.
I mentioned Cincinnati still in the 6th spot. They would want UConn to lose tonight to SMU. Not asking much. SMU does have a 1-0 lead, so as crazy as it is, things could still work out for the Bearcats, but they just don't look like a team that's got that belief right now, unfortunately. Of course, things can change. 8 minutes left to go. Not in this game, though. It's 4-0. I'm going to predict the USF win.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe prediction right now. But like to see a few more attacks and a few more chances created from USF and try and get a couple more goals. You've got some fresh legs on the field, some players that I know are going to be hungry to score a few goals, and show the coach that they want more playing time.
Well, I think Trey Jackson is definitely doing that here tonight. Stephen Rutherham almost did it with that first touch of the game for him, where he almost scored a magnificent goal. Now good work by Lupon there to Phipps. Chipped pass that Jackson might win out. Instead, Cincinnati gets the ball first. That was Aaron West. Can't clear it out, though. Boy, even simple plays not being made by Cincinnati right now. Lupon gets it, takes advantage. Out to Laval. Got a crack from there early on the free kick. Give and go with...
Yeah, nice little give and go. So what you want to see is lots of little give and goes around the penalty area.
Last year's game, you mentioned how it was just a goal fest for the Bulls. And actually, Rutherham and Akaza, ironically, both scored in that game. The goal difference became a situation in the conference because you had potential tiebreakers. They're not going to have anything like that this year, but They were up 6-0, and still they were a little disappointed because they gave up 2 goals in the last 5 minutes of that one. And the kid who scored the 2 goals for Cincinnati, it was his only 2 goals of the year, and it was a senior on senior night, so it was almost like, okay, let him have it. His name was Ryan Malink, but that was just kind of a strange thing. I don't know if that's going to happen here, but I got to mention it because it's what happened last year when it was 6-0. It's 4-0 here right now with 6.5 minutes to go. Trey Jackson going to have a nice long blast. You could see it was going to be wide the whole time, and Lawrence had the confidence to let it roll out for a goal kick, but another good strike by Jackson.
good skill and good effort, good strike.
He is very impressive to me. Kid from Ocala. And hasn't really worked himself into starting role consideration, but sometimes you don't need that from a guy. You can have a guy that you know is going to come in late in a half and provide immediate offense, not have to settle into the game and have confidence. That's a big thing.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, a lot of players, they get a role. They have a specific role on the team, and it's not always, you're a starter, but it's, hey, you're going to come in for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and, I need you to create some things and make some things happen and look to get a couple of goals. And there's a lot of players that do that well.
Listen, 6 minutes to go. Gotten to see every player that might possibly be able to do that well here tonight. And now I look to my left and see that Billhart and Ikaza are still like stretching. I don't know if that's just general stretching or if they might go back in the game. I doubt it. There's no reason to. Unless maybe Cincinnati pokes a couple of goals in here in the last 5 minutes and a half, but that would be something else.
Yeah, because I think the danger then is, they're a little bit stiff, they're a little bit cold, muscles, and you don't want to get any injuries at this point of the season. So I think Coach will stick with what he's got right now. The boys are playing well, and hopefully no injuries.
Gill sends it over, gets knocked away. Alan Anderson and Derek Sharp here taking you through the last few minutes. Ball gets misplayed by Cincinnati, but fortunately for the Bearcats to nobody, less than 5 minutes to go. I want to thank you for, and listen, I don't want to talk like this is the closing credits because, again, we hope to have one more game, and that would be next Saturday. But I want to thank you for your excellent work this year. It was really a pleasure. And I know that the team really thought you did a great job, and they wanted to give you that scarf. I hope you
yes, fantastic. Yeah, I'm honoured to get that, and that was a nice surprise. It's been a fantastic season. I've thoroughly enjoyed being here and working with yourself, and hopefully there's some more games to come.
No doubt, and we'll just be realistic about the chances. I mean, listen, we're looking at the USF women's team. They should host a first-round NCAA tournament game, and if things go right in the bracket, you could be home for the later rounds. But for the men, it's just not likely that they would host any games in the NCAA tournament. They want to get there, though. But conference tournament, different story. Trying to keep that clean sheet is Javane Brown
Great
and
defending.
getting pulled on by Epps.
Great defending.
Epps trying to draw the contact there, but he was whistled for it.
Yeah, it's great defending from Brown. He's had a great game tonight and a great season. It's really, really good, solid defender back there, Mazzaferro. Those two have really been the backbone, of this team. Along with Devonish Mears, they really set the tone for this whole team.
Well, Mazzaferro also had a nifty little chest down to himself that kind of got lost in the shuffle because the Bulls had a run on after that. But again, some serious skill. And if you see Sal Mazzaferro, it's probably a stretch as far as lookalikes go and confidence-wise. There's an actor named Ryan Felipe. He's kind of got that movie star quality, that confidence about him, really confident when he speaks and when he plays. That's why I mention it, because it translates into his play. You have a freshman like that, that is something else. Laval loses the ball in the center of the park. 3 minutes to go.
I think that's one thing that Coach has done really well with the guys is, he's instilled confidence. Players come in, doesn't matter, you're a freshman, you're a senior, doesn't matter. If you're good enough, you can play. And I think he's shown that confidence, and the players repay that. The coach he's not afraid, he's not worried about putting them in key games and key moments. And players respond to that.
You mentioned Coach. I looked down at him. He's still wanting these guys to get the message. He is still shouting out instructions. You got to love that.
That's right. It's great to see, and he's not going to let them get lackadaisical. He's not going to let them get sloppy. He's pushing for these next few games. He knows how important these games are.
In our post-game show, I'll take you through the minutia, which is really important minutia of what can happen with the Bulls, what's gone on in other games tonight, and basically what their possibilities are. They have guaranteed that they will make the conference tournament with this win we are calling it a win with 2 minutes to go, and it's 4-0.
Yeah, I think it's safe now. We can call it.
But we'll tell you what needs to happen for them to have another home game. The easy part to remember is they must beat Memphis. That is a given, but the other things we'll talk about in the post game. Boy, Cincinnati, nice effort there to get a player who I don't have on my roster a goal. We have number 14. Yeah, Will Loneman. Didn't write him down in my notes. I'm going to take it he hasn't played that much this year.
Good defending again by USF, though. They held the line. They're all on the same page. They let him run offside, and just let him go. So that's a good sign. When you've got the players coming in defensively, but they're still all on the same page.
By the way, we got to say, I feel a little bit gathered in there because I was wondering, who is this kid? Why didn't I have him in my notes? He has not played at all this year. He is a sophomore from Cincinnati. He played 2 minutes last season, so he is getting a career high right now.
Wow.
And that's probably why he was offside. He wanted to get that foot on the ball.
He's desperate to do anything he possibly can right now.
All right, so that's what we've got going on right now. Both teams with their benches emptied as much as they could be with a minute to go. So the Bulls up 4-0 and hoping to keep that clean sheet. And has been not as common of occurrence as I think they would like for it to have been this year. Now maybe to add here, Trey Jackson. Oh, he's got Rutherham in front of him. The senior was calling for the
that's
ball.
that ball, isn't it? That's that one. If they can just get their head up just a little bit quicker and just see that pass. And I think that's what coach will be working on. Is that's how you unlock defenses. Is that little pass that you slide in.
Oh, Loneman with the good ball. This could be an assist with 20
offside.
seconds left.
It's offside.
And again, it's way offsides.
Again, USF, good organisation at the back. Just let the runners go. They held on to the ball too long, Cincinnati, and by the time they play the ball, he's offside.
8,
Hear the countdown. Bulls won't even play the ball. Javane Brown rolls it in front of him.
3, 2,
Referee actually signals for him to play it, but I don't think there were any tactics or shenanigans tonight of anybody accusing anybody of not playing the ball on purpose. It was kind of a decided fate. I think when that third goal was scored, the Bulls end up winning it by the score of 4-0. Jonathan Rosales, a goal and an assist on senior night. Adrian Billhart gets a penalty kick, and Trey Jackson gets the fourth marker as the Bulls dominate this one. They end up with the shot count of 23-7. And again, that would be 12-2 in the second half.
Yeah, it was a good, economical and comfortable win, wasn't it? Really, they, USF, they were comfortable from the start. They got off to a good start, which is always key. Scored some good goals and didn't give anything away at the back. And that's hopefully you take that momentum into the next games. But just a good all-round performance tonight from USF. Really played well. Some good goals, and as I say, just from front to back, just looked very, very solid.
Well, that's going to do it for our broadcast. I'll pop back on in a couple of minutes on Bulls Unlimited and give you an update as far as the scores go.